Reality, it's an ambiguous concept. It's an individual's perception of environment and situations with their five senses. What that means is how you perceive it is how it is. So when we come to terms with that, we realize we, in fact, create our reality.
We create our own reality. We decide who we are and what we
All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Leveled Up podcast with me, Mike Adler. Glad to have you back. And on this week's episode, we're going to talk about the 7 steps of getting unstuck. Now, there are so many people, you might even argue all people, feel stuck in some regard. Some people are very stuck in every aspect of their life. And then you have people who are, successful in certain aspects of life, but are still stuck in a certain aspect that they can't seem to progress in, or most of the time when people are stuck, they just either tell themselves they don't know what to do, so they don't even try doing anything, or they just don't have the motivation. They don't want to do the work required to get unstuck. And being stuck is a terrible feeling. That's when people start questioning, if all this is even worth it. I can't seem to do anything. I can't seem to move forward. I can't seem to progress. It hurts your confidence. Your self-worth. And it can hurt in ways like it hurts financially. It hurts in your family life. And there is a way out. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Step 1 is being brutally honest with yourself of how you are stuck and how you got stuck. What got you to this point? What decisions have you made? What actions have you taken that have landed you in this situation? Now, I include this as a step because when you process how you got there, you're able to point out, you're able to notice certain things maybe that you do repeatedly, certain habits that you have that seem to always get you the same result, which is this feeling of being stuck. And, I try and liken it to being stuck in, you're driving your car in the snow. It's slippery, you slide off the road a little bit, your back tires, if you're rear-wheel drive, are stuck in the snow, and you're stuck. Now, in this instance, it may not be as important to reflect on how you got there because you just want to get unstuck so you aren't a hazard on the road and you aren't end up sleeping in a freezing car. But when it comes to life situations, I include this as a step because we often have certain habits and things that we do repeatedly that get us in these situations. So being able to identify them allows us to, well, you know the problem, so it allows us to either avoid doing it or make adjustments to our daily habits to prevent it happening again. So you got to be honest with yourself. How did I get here? Why am I here? And it can be a hard pill to swallow, because a lot of times it is things that we are, a big part of who we are, or something that we have done our whole lives that we need to unlearn, or at least learn how to at least learn that doing it gets us in this situation, and if we want out, we need to do something different. So you got to be honest with yourself and really think about what it is that landed you stuck in this aspect of your life. And then step 2, you need to clearly define where it is you want to go. Without a clear definition of where you're going, it's like driving aimlessly. It's like you have nothing to go towards. You have nothing to pull you out of being unstuck, because subconsciously, why do you need to get unstuck if you have nowhere to go? So clearly defining where it is that you want to go is going to give you essentially a roadmap, at least the start of a roadmap, because now you have a point to focus on. I was reading Millionaire Success Habits by Dean Graziosi, and he talks about he mentions a story that these kids were going rafting, and apparently the day that they were going, it was very bad weather, and it was super choppy, and they didn't know if they should go, and the guide was like, no, we're going to go. You just have to follow this one rule, and that is go where I point. And he calls it the positive point. And what it is having something to focus on, and that is giving you direction, because like I said, you can't get unstuck if you have nowhere to go, because your mind's going to tell you why are we doing this? There's nothing to go towards. There's no reason to get unstuck. So figure out where it is you want to go and define it. I like to write it down. Obviously, in this instance, we're not talking about a car stuck in the snow. We're talking about your life. So when you're clearly defining where you want to go, your destination, your goal, what you want to do, write it down, get it out of your head, get it onto paper. This is the first step in making it a tangible, real thing. You can hold it in your hands. It's on paper. It's becoming real. Everything starts with an idea. Look around the room, look around wherever you are, everything's been created by man aside from nature, I know, but the majority of things in our modern day world were once just an idea in somebody's head. And humans, we are here to create. It's our purpose to create, whether it's creating life by having children, or it's creating art to share emotions and evoke feeling in people, creating businesses, which is creating jobs for our fellow human to have a way to feed their families, inventing things to make our lives better, more efficient, because we're here to create. And by creating, you're creating a new thing for another person to build off of that wasn't even an option before because it didn't exist. So clearly defining where you want to go is the first step of creation. You don't see people creating new inventions without having notebooks full of ideas and diagrams and things like that, because they're taking it out of this intangible thing, which is an idea, and starting to bring it into fruition in the real world by getting it down on paper. I prefer actual paper. I do jot down ideas on my phone and stuff, but when I'm really working on something that I want to create, putting it physically on paper is I think a crucial step, because now you have something real, something you have a positive point to go towards, so you can kind of put blinders on and focus on this thing. And you've already started the process by making it real in some sense. And then step 3, excuse me, it's really dry here in Colorado. So dry, my lips are like peeling off. I've been applying so much chapstick and still my lips are peeling off. It's crazy. I haven't had that happen in a long time. But step 3, once you've clearly defined where it is you want to go, is you need to educate yourself. This is the education step. Wherever it is you want to go, whether it's something you want to become as a person, or if it's like a goal you want to reach, an accomplishment or whatever, you need to educate yourself on the habits or actions required to attain that goal or become that person. If you want to become a better dad, which isn't a great goal because it's not very descriptive. What does better mean? But in that example, you want to educate yourself on what is a better dad. What habits does a better dad possess? What things does a better dad do every day to be what you're calling a better dad. Same thing goes for, like a goal. You want to win a race or something. What daily habits does a person who has won that race, what daily habits do they have? What do they do every day to be a person that has won the race? What actions do they take? They practice whatever it is daily. They, track their progress. They dial in their nutrition and hydration and all these different things. But you need to educate yourself on what it is, the thing that you're trying to accomplish requires of you to become. Because to get unstuck is going to require you to most likely make new habits, get rid of bad habits or old habits, do things that you've maybe never done before, take actions that you've never done before. But the beautiful thing is that most things that most people want to achieve, someone has done before. And in today's world, we can find just about anything out about just about anybody that has done something. So study those people and learn about what kind of person you need to become, because it's going to be a crucial step in order to get unstuck and get towards that goal that you're trying to reach. So the education part is important. And I personally, for instance, with business, I started my lawn care business, and I wanted to, I didn't know anything about business. I was able to at least start it out of desperation because I had been stuck for so long, just spinning my tires at pointless menial jobs. And but I didn't know about what I didn't know anything. So I made a conscious decision to, instead of listening to music, which music is if you've seen any of my older content, it's all my music. That was my first thing I really wanted to do, was just make music for a living. And so music has always been a big part of my life. But I made a conscious decision to not listen to music, and instead, when I would be listening to music, listen to podcasts related to what it is I'm trying to achieve. I think that's a really crucial, easy enough step that you can start taking right away. There's podcasts about everything nowadays. So start listening to podcasts about what it is you're trying to do. Because just listening to people who have done it and are doing it and just love it, whatever, you're going to pick up on all these different things that go into becoming the person you need to become in order to get where you want to go. obviously there's other ways to educate yourself too. Filling your ear. You control your inputs. Life is a series of inputs and outputs. You're in control of what you allow to come in, what you put in. And you can't you can't expect a certain output, a certain result by putting inputs in that don't get you that output that you want. So you have to control, you have to feed your mind. You have to educate yourself with the inputs, the things that are related to what it is you're trying to do. So rather than scrolling mindlessly or watching whatever nature is metal videos, spend that time reading blog posts from people who are doing what you want to do. Watch videos, but watch videos related to what it is you want to do. Fill yourself with as much information as you can so that you start becoming the person that you need to become. Because now you're not just in doing that, you're becoming that person. Because a person that is the person you're trying to become is doing those things, filling their mind with that same information. Now, the information is going to hit different depending on where you are in the timeline on, becoming what you're trying to become. Someone who's been in business for 20 years can listen to the same business podcast as someone who's been in business for 1 year, and they're going to hear it differently. They're going to hear things. It's just going to hit different, and you're going to glean different information from it based on the experience that you already have. But what I'm saying is that this is the first step in actually becoming the person, because you are doing what the person that you want to become does. At least one aspect of it. So then it goes to step 4, which is taking action. Now, you've already started taking action by educating yourself, but you need to actually get together, actionable steps that you can take every day. And that also includes your habits, because you have this clearly defined goal. You've taught yourself, you've learned what you need to do. So this step is all about doing it. And this is really where you begin to transform into that what you're trying to become. But it's very, very easy to get stuck in that third step of just educating yourself. So many people will get hung up on the fact that they need to know everything before they can do anything. And that can't be further from the truth, because getting started and taking action, even if it's imperfect action, like I talk about in episode 1, even if it's imperfect action and you don't even know really fully what you're doing, you're going to learn on the job. There's things that you can't learn from videos and blogs and podcasts. There's certain things that you're only going to learn from experience. That's why certain jobs require you to have X amount of experience. because they know that so much of the job requirements, like things that you need to know, are learned in doing it. I can't tell you, like I have mentioned, I listen to a lot of business podcasts, and so many business people talk about how, business school is just like a joke to them, because a lot of these guys didn't go to school even and have crazy successful businesses, but they learned it all on just by doing it. But they all started not knowing what to do. So it's not unique to you that you're in the weeds not knowing what to do. That's how everyone starts. But part of it is getting comfortable being uncomfortable. So many people are afraid to look stupid in the eyes of people that don't even matter to them. It makes no sense, but people get so hung up on this idea. I'm gonna look stupid. I'm gonna, look like an impersonator, or like people are gonna know I'm a fraud or whatever. But like the fact that you are taking action, as long as you're being ethical and you have good intentions, like it's understandable that you may not know everything. Even if someone's coming to you for a certain service, I can't tell you, for example, I mean, when I started my lawn care business, well, it's like landscape maintenance and lawn care, but I've done so many jobs. I mean, all the jobs in the beginning, like I hadn't done them before, but I was confident that I can learn it and do it right if I learn it, because I'm confident in my abilities. And part of that confidence comes from being in the past taking risks and going for something, not knowing it, and then doing well at it without knowing everything I had to know about it up front. You got to be confident in yourself. Here's a quick story. I worked at a grow house, and that was actually my last job. And there was a guy who had been at that grow for 7 years, and I I started as a trimmer there, just trimming buds, which is how like everyone starts if you're unfamiliar with it. They start you off as a trimmer. I had got a second DUI, and I had to serve 10 days in jail. So I was like, fuck, I have to go to jail. I hope I don't lose my job. Thankfully, they were cool about it, but I ended up coming back to work from being gone in jail, and they were like, do you want to learn how to grow? Which in the weed industry is like a promotion. Working as a grower is way better than working as a trimmer. And I was like, fuck yeah, I want to do that. Like, this is awesome. I like get back from jail and I get a promotion. This is great. So I had I was learning the ropes. Excuse me. So I was learning the ropes. And as I mentioned, there was a guy who had been a grower there for 7 years at the time. And I'm learning everything, and like I'm a fast learner, and like I said, I'm confident in my ability to learn new things fast. And so I'm picking up on everything, I'm learning things, and And then all of a sudden, the lead grower at the time, who was not this other person I mentioned, this is a separate person, but the lead grower, he said he was going to quit or something. And so there was going to be no head grower. And people were saying to the gentleman who had been there for 7 years, like, hey, like, it looks like you're next in line to be the head grower. And this dude was like, I don't think I'm ready for that. I don't know. I don't think so. And me, I'm like 2-3 weeks in at this point. I'm like, shit, I'll do it. Because I'm confident in my ability. Like, this man had been there for 7 years. And yes, I'm sure there are things he didn't know, but there were definitely things that the lead grower before him didn't know. And like, there's always things that you're not gonna know. But having the confidence to be like, I know that I can learn that, and like, this is an opportunity. You can't let opportunities pass. I didn't end up becoming the head grower. Actually, they didn't end up having a head grower after that. They're like, we don't want a head grower anymore. But I bring up that story to just to show, like, you don't need to know everything, and so much of it is about just being confident in your ability to learn on the job and know that you'll figure it out and things will be fine. Like, and this is an opportunity that you can't just let slip, because sometimes opportunities pop up like that, and if you just don't take it because you don't know everything and you don't feel ready, you may never get an opportunity like that again. So take the chance. Be confident in your ability. Now, if it was like, we need someone to do brain surgery, I would not be like, I got it. Even though I could probably figure it out. But for the most part, in most cases, people let so many opportunities slip because they don't know everything yet. You're never going to know everything. But take the actions, do the things, and you become the thing. Another example is, like I said, I made music I started making music when I was like 14. Well, even before that, but like started making beats and stuff when I was 14, and like started taking it more seriously. And my most recent, I thought I was wearing this shirt. My most recent project was, it was me and one other person. We were a 2-man sort of band, and we were taking things very seriously. I mean, that's like, we worked at the Grow together, and then when we weren't at the Grow, we were working on music. That's all we did. And my partner at the time would talk about, like, you know, when we make it, when we become musicians and stuff, or like talk about it like when we become this. And I'm like, we are this, bro. Like, what do you think all these other musicians are doing? The same shit that we're doing. They're making music, working on music, and working on marketing their music all day. And that's what we're doing. So by taking the actions, by doing the things, you become the thing. But it requires you to do it on a continuous basis for an extended time period. Because then you learn what you need to learn as you do it, but also by doing the thing, that's like what it is. You become it because you are living it, you are doing it. So you got to take actions. And I mean, that includes habits too, but daily habits are actions essentially. But habits and actions is step 4. And that brings me to step 5, which is kind of, I'll just say, step 5 is the law of attraction. I don't know if it's really a step, but I call it a step. But everything you've done up until now in steps 1 through 4, you've defined where you want to go, and you've began taking action. Now the law of attraction says that, you clearly define what it is you're trying to achieve, and then the other part is having the belief, the feeling that you will have when you've achieved certain thing. So you have a goal that you want to achieve, but then you must believe that you already have achieved it, and feel the feelings that you will feel when you actually accomplish it. And essentially what you've done in step 1 through 4 is just that. Through the actions that you're taking in step 4, that's going to instill the belief and the feeling of what it is you're trying to achieve. Because all of a sudden you are living it. This is how it feels. This is how it feels to be what it is I had set out to be. So now you believe it. You have a goal that you're locked on with your positive point. So the other part of the law of attraction is the thing you're attracting starts moving towards you. You start attracting it to you. So everything that you've done up till now has caused your goal to start moving. The universe is sending it your way. So not only are you getting unstuck, your destination is coming closer to you. How fucking exciting is that? But it's only possible if you have the belief and you have the feeling. And in order to have those, you have to know what actions to take and take the actions regularly. And then you will start believing and feeling. And just watch. It will start moving towards you. And that brings me to step 6, which is accountability. So now you have this goal that you set out towards. You have this belief. You're getting unstuck. It's starting to come towards you. Everything's starting to work out. But you need to hold yourself accountable. You need to be accountable. You need to regularly check yourself. And make sure that you're staying on course. Make sure that the actions that you set out to do are getting done, and that you're hitting your micro goals, your benchmarks along the way. Because your goal is going to be made up of smaller goals, which are your action steps that you're taking every day to hit these smaller goals. You know, the main thing's made up of subcategories, which are then like your benchmarks that you need to take your daily steps towards hitting. But you need to make sure that you're holding yourself accountable in hitting those. It's very easy to fall off your newly instilled habits. For instance, one of your new habits is going to the gym regularly, because you know that the type of person that has what you want to have, they go to the gym regularly. So you started doing it. But then the weather was shitty, you had a cold, and before you know it, you've missed a week and a half of training. The accountability part is recognizing that you aren't staying true to what it is that you said you were going to do, and then getting yourself back on course. And excuse me. And making sure that you're being non-negotiable in those habits that you instilled, because then it's like you're the car getting unstuck and you get some traction on the road and you're going up the road, but then all of a sudden you stop doing a key part, which is holding down the accelerator, and all of a sudden you start slipping backwards because it's icy and you're moving back to getting stuck. So you need to make sure that you're holding yourself accountable. And trust me when I say, I know it can be very difficult to hold yourself accountable, because we are the ones that, even though we have this goal, we also are the ones living it. And we have this brain attached to us that is hardwired to keep us comfortable. So when you're adding in these new habits and actions that are getting you to where you want to go, your brain's telling you, no, stop, this is uncomfortable, I don't like this. Just relax, lay down, eat some ice cream, just like watch TV, bro. You're doing too much, because your brain just seeks comfort. So it's easy for us to be like, I can miss a day, I can miss a couple days, I'll just make up for it next week and go to the gym 2 times every day. And then it's like, I didn't miss the gym. And you start justifying and doing all this shit, and it's very hard to hold ourselves accountable. It takes a next level commitment and discipline and determination to hold yourself accountable. And that's where things like having a coach comes into play and really helps you to thrive and actually achieve your goals, because you have someone else to answer to, and they're there to help you overcome the roadblocks that your internal dialogue or whatever roadblock you hit along the way. They help you through that and help you stay on track. And so having someone else to answer to is invaluable. And as I'm sure you know, like, that's something that I do and love to help people with. So if that's something you're interested in, reach out. The email's somewhere around here. But it's not necessary if you can do it yourself. But I'm just saying it's very next level difficult to hold yourself accountable. That's why so many people make some progress and then they fall back and they're stuck. And then that constant cycle of getting progress, stuck. Then you start cutting ruts in the road, and it makes it even harder to get unstuck because you're not just stuck in this one spot. You got to get some momentum going to get past your ruts, you know? And it can be just more mentally draining when you're like, I just can never get ahead, and it's because of that accountability. Because you're not holding yourself accountable. And I mean, don't beat yourself up about it too much because it's hard for everyone. But that's one of those examples of, in step one, realizing what got you here. The fact that you think you can do it yourself every time, but you obviously can't. So you need to pivot and try something new and find someone to help you stay accountable. Find another way to do it because the way you've been doing it isn't working. And then I guess the last step I have for step 7 is to you've been accountable. It's to adjust your goal, because you should never have just an end destination. It's not like you were stuck, you wanted to get to this place, you get to this place, and then it's just over. It's not like your life's over. You may have achieved that goal, but now you need to either raise the bar or make adjustments. Because it's not like life is over. Like, even if your goal was to like exit your business, it's like, okay, now what? You made this exit, you got, a lump sum of money or whatever it may be, and now what? You still have a whole lot of living to do. And we should always, be striving for more in life. You don't want to just hit a spot and just be like, well, I'm done. Life is over. Even if you get a fat bag of money, like, now what are you going to do with it? Or try and get more. Not just to possess more money, but because of the growing that happens in order to achieve these next levels of success. Because that's what it takes. That's why you need to constantly adjust it. Otherwise, that's where you get stuck just at a higher level. It's like you're climbing a mountain. You got unstuck from the bottom of the mountain. You climbed up, but now you're stuck halfway up the mountain. But you're stuck. You need to get unstuck again. So you need to reset a goal. You need to adjust it. But that's also a good time to, realize what you've done to get to where you are. And that's kind of like what this whole podcast is step 7 for me. And that's sharing with others how you got to how you got unstuck. Because the same message can be said by 10 different people, 100 different people. And the way that one person said it may click for one person when all the other 99 were saying the same thing and it just went right past them. But then the way that you said it connected for them, and they were able to fix their situation. Like this, what I'm doing right now, some people might just not do anything for them. Hopefully that's not the case, but that's why it's so important that everybody shares their perspective and what they have found that works for them, so that all the different unique listeners can, with different perspectives, can pull different parts from different people during their education phase, you know? But you can't just be like, oh, I got unstuck, I got unstuck, and now I'm just unstuck, like, gotta just keep striving for more, and not necessarily more stuff, but just more growth, because more, whatever it is, equals growth. And that's what we want to do. We want to create and we want to grow, and create and grow, because the more we grow, the more we can create, and the more we create, the more we grow. But there's just not an end-all destination. So you got to make those adjustments. And those, my friends, are my 7 steps to getting unstuck. And hopefully, if you feel like you're stuck, you follow the system that I just laid out, and let me know how it works for you. I'd love to hear your success stories, and I'm rooting for you. The thing is, no one else can do it for you. To get unstuck, you gotta want to get unstuck. And the scariest thing you could do is become okay with being stuck. It's the saddest shit. Seeing people who have been stuck for so many years that they just accept it and they settle, and that's just their life now. And it's just, we all have so much potential, and it's a scary thing to think that it can go just wasted, unrealized. And that's what happens if you allow yourself to stay stuck too long. So I urge you, if you're feeling stuck, let this be the sign to start taking action, to getting yourself out of there now. I'm rooting for you. If you need help, I'm here. And until next time, don't get stuck. Peace. Love you guys.
Reality, we decide who we are.